Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm actually doing a little sketch of me video. My sketchbook has been feeling the pressures of traveling from the past couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm doing a little sketch of me video because you guys have been asking for another one for a while now, and I am here to comply. So yeah, I also wanted to do a little Q&A during this sketch with me, just because I kind of didn't really have any topics to talk about. So I asked you guys on Instagram to send me some questions for today, and holy hell did you guys not disappoint. Let me just show you guys sort of how many questions you guys sent in. Like, wow. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna start off from the bottom, so from the first questions that came in, and I'll try and get my way through some of them, I guess. So yeah, I'm just gonna be using my Faber-Castell 0.7 mechanical pencil, but I think I'm pretty much going to just be using my Arteza, which one is this, 3B pencil. I use this one the most, so let's get on it. Oh, also I get a lot of questions about what sketchbook I use. The one I'm using right now is the Seawhite of Brighton travel sketchbook. So yeah, it doesn't say it anywhere, but it's the Seawhite of Brighton sketchbook, and it's always linked on there. I'm gonna just warm up a little bit here. So let's start from the first question. What are your main inspirations? Okay, so I get this question a lot, and I think that at the moment my main inspirations are like Kelogs, loops, and her name's like scrxbblz on Instagram. It's scrxbblz. Here you go. I just really love her drawings and her compositions and characters and stuff, and her ink work is beautiful. So those two right now are one of my main inspirations. Whereabouts did you grow up? I love your videos. I grew up in Porto, Portugal. I was born there and I grew up there, and it was a beautiful city to grow up in. Every time I go, it's still beautiful. So every time I go to visit, I mean like outside of uni. I have two questions. What gave you the inspiration for Ella and Sasha, and which one is your fave? Good question. Okay, so the inspirations for Ella and Sasha. Growing up, I was a huge fan of Sabrina, and this like came way before the new show that's on CW and on Netflix. So I was a huge fan of Sabrina, the little magic teen witch, and also like Do-Re-Mi, and just basically all the shows that were basically about little teen witches. And I always had like this huge obsession when I was young of being a little witch and having magic powers and stuff like that. So when I wanted to design a little character, obviously magic and like witchcraft had to have something to do with it. And Ella basically is kind of a little bit inspired by me, just mainly like her personality and her clumsiness and everything like that, and her love for cats and stuff like that. And then Sasha is actually just inspired by a friend of mine. Her name is also Sasha, but she was just kind of like, I don't know, she just kind of came along. I don't think she was really that inspired by anyone besides the name. She just kind of came along pretty naturally, I think. So yeah, and my favorite, I don't think I can pick a favorite, guys. That's like asking which one of your children is your favorite. I don't know. Actually, yeah, my favorite is Roz, Ella's cat. So yeah, there you go. That's my answer. Next question. Favorite colors at the moment? Ooh, great question. I'd probably have to say like indigo and orange. I just really like those colors at the moment. Indigo is really nice. I've always liked indigo. What's your favorite place to make art? Ooh, great question. I'd have to say my favorite place to make art is probably like right here where I'm sitting, or on my bed, just because I liked making art in places where I'm like, where I feel comfortable, and like my room obviously is my most comfortable place. So yeah, definitely. Also probably at my favorite coffee shop, because obviously I feel very much at peace there, and there's coffee. So probably those places. Also, I'm gonna be drinking a lot of this tea because my throat has been great for me recently. where do you hope to be in 10 years? I get this question a lot, like about where I see myself in the future, or like in 5 to 10 years. I would love to be working at Blue Zoo. It's an animation studio in London, and it's like my dream place to work at. So hopefully in 10 years I'll be working there. I'll still have my shop open and be sending you guys my artwork and stuff like that, because I really love my shop and just working for the shop, if that makes any sense. I just really like packaging orders, and I don't know, it's like a really good, happy part of my work that I really enjoy. I don't know, hopefully feeling a little bit less anxious, but we'll see how that works out. I absolutely love your art and videos. How did you start selling your artwork online? I get this question again a lot, and I like to wait to have these opportunities so I can talk through my answers, not just like, typing it out real quick. So I think literally anyone can start selling their artwork online. If it's like something that you've never done before, I would recommend maybe doing something like on Redbubble first, or because like or Society6 and stuff like that, because basically you don't get much, because you only get like an artist's commission because they basically do all the production and the manufacturing stuff part of it. So obviously you only get the percentage of having your artwork used on them. Sorry about my throat. If you're just starting out, selling your artwork and getting your artwork out there, Redbubble is a good place to start, just because you don't really have to spend money in production, and people can still get, your artwork on stuff. And then after that, I think Etsy is a really good place to go afterwards, because it's obviously, pretty much free, and it's a really easy platform. Like literally Devon, who I live with, she uses Etsy, and it's great, and it's got a really good name. So yeah, and also you get to sell your artwork on their marketplace, which means that even people who don't know you can like see your artwork and buy it off of the platform that Etsy creates, which I think is really cool. And once you feel a little bit more confident in, doing everything yourself, and, once you've gotten enough money for actually getting things manufactured and produced, then I'd probably say create a website and manufacture your own stuff and sell them. I really recommend Squarespace, but obviously I'm used to using Squarespace now, but they've got a really easy to use platform, and it's really user-friendly in terms of their e-commerce system and their software, and just managing your revenue and your orders and stuff. I just think it's really easy to use. They've got an app as well, which you can do stuff on, which is what I use mainly. It's just really good. I've heard kind of mixed reviews from Wix.com. It's I heard that it's really good. It's a bit cheaper, I think, from what I've heard. Don't really know, but apparently it's got a really easy to use is it storefront? Is it? No, I don't know what the word is for that. I'm sorry. It's early on a Sunday. But yeah, that's kind of how I started selling my artwork online. I went through Redbubble first, so because I didn't really have the money to produce stuff, and then I went on to Ticktail when it was still up, and Ticktail was the best. But ever since it closed down, I've been really lucky with Squarespace. So that's not English. That's how I started selling my artwork online. So there you go. Someone just sent a question in all caps lock. Do you listen to BTS? I don't really. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not really a huge BTS fan. I'm so sorry. I've just never gotten into BTS, and I don't know. I just feel now I've just got too much to catch up on. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm so sorry. I get this question so often. You guys have no idea. I feel I've answered it 100 times, but sorry, no. Tips for getting my crush to go on a date with me. Oh my god, you are asking the wrong person, honestly. You're asking the wrong person, sweetie. I'm so sorry. I have the most, like, bad luck with romance and stuff like that. I literally... we're just not gonna... No, I'm sorry. I mean, if I had any advice to give to you is just don't, you know, wait until you feel like the moment's right to ask them out. Definitely, like, just do it, because they will, like, find someone else. Honestly, just go for it, and I don't know, just be yourself, I guess. Lame. I know, lame answer, but you know, true. What media would you like to work more on? I definitely would like to work more on oils and stuff like that. I kind of stopped my oil practice a couple of months ago, kind of a year ago, because of all the work, and I had a lot less free time. But I'd really like to get back into my oils grind and work on that, because I feel like I still haven't fully grasped the hang of oils. I also really want to get, obviously, more into markers and exploring more of that, because I'm still kind of a noob at markers. I just want to kind of practice a little bit more with that. So yeah, those two materials for sure. Do you have any big art projects for the future? I think besides the comic right now, not really. I do want to, like, start doing more comics and, like, book-based stuff, because I really love seeing things in book form and, like, seeing things printed out. I'd love to one day maybe illustrate a book or something and have it published. I think that'd be really cool. But so far, it's kind of it. Just the comic that I'm working on that I haven't really worked on in a while. It's fine. Yeah, definitely during the summer I'll probably work on it and probably finish it. What are your plans for the summer? Oh, that's a good question. My summer's going to be pretty packed, actually. I have an internship, like, right after. Well, actually, before that, I'm going on holiday with my mum, which is going to be so nice. We're going to Florence, which is going to be so nice. It's my favorite place on earth. And then after that, I've got an internship at an animation studio, which is going to be so exciting. And then after that, I'll find out if I got an internship at another studio, which is Blue Zoo. So hopefully I get an internship at my dream job place. Yeah, after that, we're going to France for an animation festival. Yeah, after that, hopefully if I get my internship, I'll then have a 2-month internship. So hopefully everything works out, you know. So that's my plans for the summer. And also my other, like, plans for the summer in my free time are to obviously finish the comic, and I obviously want to finish the comic for it to be kind of published or printed out for September. Definitely do more animations for fun, because that was one of my resolutions for this year and I still haven't done any. So definitely try and do some animations for myself. Who's your favorite classical artists? Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about, like, artists from a long time ago. I'd probably say that Degas, Edgar Degas, and Monet are probably some of my favorites. Oh, also, I actually even got, like, a little postcard from them. Oh, actually, I've got it right here. What am I on about? I got a postcard of their artwork at the museum. So, which one is it? There we go. Here he is. John Singer Sargent. I always know it's got, like, 2 S's in there, so I always get it wrong. But yeah, John Singer Sargent. He's, like, a beautiful, amazing oil paint artist, and I really love his portraits. How did you practice drawing human anatomy? I get this question a lot. I'm pretty sure I've answered it before, but I'll answer it again. It's basically a lot of practice, and what I do a lot of is I go a lot of life drawing classes, but I'm aware that a lot of people probably don't have the opportunity to go to life drawing classes. So something really cool that I found out recently from one of you guys is that there's like a life drawing website that has like classes and stuff, and it's free, completely free, and it's super amazing and practical, and I use it a lot now, especially in the past couple of months where I haven't had a lot of time or energy to actually go out to my life drawing classes. I just do this from my home. It's called Line of Action, and it's really great. I'll leave it in the description, obviously, of the video, but it's so nice. It has like different, you can basically pick how you want the class to be, and you can set timers for yourself. You can pick what you get shown to draw for how long. It's so nice, and I really recommend it for anyone who's like trying to learn to draw, because drawing from observation is like the best way to practice. And yeah, I really recommend it. Line of Action, and it's kind of still what I use to practice. But yeah, draw as many bodies, different kinds of bodies, and obviously like don't feel discouraged if like you don't get it right, or if stuff you draw doesn't look right, because even I get that a lot. It's just try and work it until it looks right, sort of. Does that make sense? Just don't feel discouraged, really, because that's the worst. Your worst enemy is feeling discouraged. Ooh, that's the funny question. What was the funniest moment in Edinburgh, and why, and what other places are you planning on visiting? Edinburgh was so nice. Actually, it was really interesting because I got ill, obviously, while I was there, but it was so amazing. And I'm trying to figure out what the funniest bit in Edinburgh was. I'm pretty sure one of the funniest moments in Edinburgh, we were at this coffee shop called Black Medicine. I've actually got some postcards that I got from there as well. It's a really amazing shop, and coffee shop, sorry, and they've got a little axolotl there. It was actually one of you guys that recommended us to go to that coffee shop. But anyway, one of the days that we were there, these two guys sat next to us, and they were, I don't know how to explain it, but they were the most like douchiest guys. Like, I don't know if there's any other possible way to explain this, but that's definitely the only way that I can explain it. And we were just all overhearing their conversation they were having with each other, and it was just so horrible, the things that they were saying, and just so funny. And we were just all trying not to laugh, and we were just chuckling to ourselves. And then they actually started talking to us, and we were just like, oh my god. It was just an interesting moment, because I knew that all of us were listening in. And we were all listening into the same conversation, and it was just really funny. So I think that was one of the funniest bits in Edinburgh that I can remember. Either that, or just us belting out to the soundtrack of Hairspray in the hostel. I don't know what it is, but I really like keeping like the little guidelines of joints and stuff when I'm drawing hands nowadays. I don't know why. I just think it looks cooler. I've been needing to practice hands for a while, and I always forget to do it. So since I'm here, I'm definitely gonna get on that. There's no real theme, by the way, to what I'm drawing here today. I'm just literally sketching. I haven't had like any time to just sit down and kind of sketch what I want. So this is kind of the first time I'm sketching in quite a while. Literally what I've been doing recently is just anytime I've got a moment, I'll just doodle in something, literally. So yeah, I've been needing this like kind of loose practice. Alright, I've been seeing a lot of questions about tips on drawing hair and tips on drawing human figure. So I might just do a little bit of a mini tutorial here. So how I normally draw female bodies, so I'm going for female bodies first, because basically it's easier to know how to explain this. It's better if you learn how to draw the female body, because it's a lot more complicated, and then learn how to draw the male body, so you've got the foundation to it first. If that makes any sense? Does that make sense? I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, so the way that I normally sketch out the human body is, first of all, you want to draw the head, just obviously, and then you want to separate out the torso. And what I normally do is like a little rectangle, a square at the top, and then this kind of like is it a hexagon? Pentagon, kind of like this. And then the way that you kind of draw legs is just kind of oh, that's gonna be interesting. It's kind of like a teardrop kind of thing. It's always obviously easier to know the muscles and the human, you know, body before you do this, but I'm just giving you kind of a rundown. And the easiest way that I can think of to explain to you how to draw legs is the outside of the thigh goes like a curve and then straight, and then the inside of the thigh goes straight and then a curve. Does that make sense? Did that make any sense at all? I'll do it again here. So curve and then straight, and then you do the exact opposite on the inside. So straight and then curve. Does that make sense? So yeah, once you've kind of got the legs that you want, you can obviously work around these and then kind of shape the body as to however you want that specific body type to look like, you know, make it a bit bigger, a bit smaller, a bit more muscular, whatever. Yeah, so for the torso, basically, if you just imagine that the belly region, there's like this sort of oval shape, which is kind of like where the abs would be or the belly fat would be, and then basically under there you've got the place where the bikini line would be. And the way that I do it is I imagine how the bikini or like underwear would sit on the human figure, and then draw it out like that. So there's obviously, it always helps for me to draw a line like this, and then just figure out where the belly button would be, and then work around that. So on the torso above the belly button, you'd have like obviously the diaphragm, and above the diaphragm is where you'll have like the breasts. There you go. And I don't know if I'm explaining this at all in a good way, but yeah, so above the breasts you'll obviously have the arms, and I normally like draw my shoulders kind of slouched a little bit, just because it makes the person that I'm drawing a little bit more relaxed and a little bit less uptight. And yeah, then from there you just draw out the arms. Again, there's 100 different ways to draw arms, but the best way to do it is where you'd think the elbow would be. You kind of narrow it down to that area, and then you bring it out again with a curve where your forearm would like grow out to be, because it's always a bit chunkier next to the forearm, and then it narrows down to your wrist sort of. And then obviously you'd have the hand. Her arms are very long, Jesus. Yeah, it's kind of just a lot of practice. I know I always say this and it's really annoying, but it's true. Like, no one is born knowing stuff. You kind of got to practice to figure out how to do stuff, and that's how I learned, and that's how everyone learns, you know? So yeah, and then you just draw out the head, and that's kind of a body, I guess. I'm obviously not a genius on human figure. I'm still learning, but this is how I sort of draw out the human body and how I've learned to memorize it, sort of. Yeah, it's just a matter of learning about proportions and knowing where to put them, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the body. And then someone asked about hair or something, so I'm just gonna draw out a little girl over here. So while I just draw out that face, let's just get some more questions. What pencil hardness do you use for sketching? Great question, and very topical. I normally I'm quite light-handed when I'm sketching, and then when I've kind of figured out the guidelines and everything, I'll go in a bit harder for like the outside lines, but then when I'm shading, I go quite light-handed again. I feel like it's always good to be light-handed just because, yeah, it just saves you a lot of effort with erasing, and it's quite annoying when you want to erase something but you went in too hard and then it's always there. Sometimes I'm a bit too light-handed, even like for like YouTube videos, and then I realize when I'm editing it back that you couldn't see absolutely anything I was drawing in the sketching phase, which is great. I used to be really heavy-handed when I was younger, and my teachers told me to stop being heavy-handed, especially when writing and stuff. And I actually have a really huge callus on my finger from being that heavy-handed, so it also helps when you start doing digital art. You become a lot less heavy-handed because you're scared of breaking the screen with your hands. Which is what I thought I was gonna do. Okay, so we've kind of got a little face over here happening. Alright, so for drawing hair, which is a great question. So tips for drawing hair is to, first of all, kind of figure out the overall structure of where the hair you want to go. Does that make sense? That wasn't English, but just kind of block out where you want the hair to be. So if I want to give this little character some curtains and then kind of give her like a little bob, it's always good to like block it out first. Okay, so once you've blocked it in, basically, what I like to do is I do a lot of this. So I never really do like a full completed line, kind of continuous, if that makes any sense. Let me zoom in a little bit. So I do a lot of like hair lines like this, and that really just helps me kind of get like a curl if I'm doing a curl, or yeah, I guess I'm like doing this tutorial for like curly-ish hair, but straight hair is really easy to draw, so yeah, I just kind of keep going, and I don't really commit to any line, really. I just kind of go a bit freely. So if I'm just giving her some curtains, I normally draw a lot of curly hair just because it's a lot more fun to draw, but I'll normally do a lot of like going back and forth. Yeah, just kind of making it wiggly. Is kind of the best way that I can describe it. I am the worst person to describe things. I am so sorry. So yeah, just make it as random as possible, because obviously hair is not it's kind of like fluid if you think about it, and you wouldn't draw fluid very structuredly because it's completely free. And then for the ends of the hair, I'll either do like a straight line and then go over that straight line with like a bunch of like little stray hairs like this, or I'll just literally go in and add a bunch of little lines like this. Another way that I sometimes draw hair is I'll draw a straight line like this, or kind of the path that I want the hair to go on, and then I'll just draw in the gaps like this if I want it to be like a complete straight cut, or give that illusion, basically. I hope that made sense, because obviously hair isn't like completely, not all the ends of the hair aren't completely like stuck together. There's always going to be little gaps and stuff, and that's just how I prefer to draw hair. And then after pretty much all of it is done, I like to go in and add a bunch of little stray hairs that kind of fall out of place, and it just makes it look more real, basically. When I draw curly hair, I always like going in where I see that the curl goes inwards. I like to add a little bit of shading in there like this. So like wherever the curl would go into away from the light, I'll add like a little bit of a shadow there just to make it look more curly and give it more of that illusion. Just really makes it look a bit better. And it kind of helps if this is like a sketch. When you go into color, you kind of know where to add the highlights and the shadows. And then I'll add like a shade to the hair as well, obviously, where the sun don't reach. And this is what I mean when I go a little bit heavy-handed into it, and I'll make it a little, like, just basically accentuate the final, the strokes that I want to be final. That's how I sort of draw hair. I hope that was helpful. And then yeah, straight hair is pretty basic. You just kind of go like, whoosh. I always like making it a bit more voluminous and giving it a bunch of straight hairs, because straight hair has a lot of straight hairs because the hairs aren't all like contained in curls and stuff. So obviously I'll just use the technique of like the straight cut that I showed over here when I'm drawing straight hair. Favorite song at the moment, I am really obsessed with Talk by Khalid. I think it's his new song that came out recently, and funnily enough, it's actually my mom that showed me the song while I was home. Would you ever post vlogs more often, like weekly or bi-weekly? I don't know. I'm really bad at vlogging, first of all, and I nothing really happens that much in a week or in every 2 weeks for me to have content to post about it. So when I do post vlogs, which is like a studio vlog and stuff like that, it's normally during the span of a whole month or a whole 2 months or something, because that's the only time that, in that time only, will enough stuff happen for me to vlog about. So probably not, just from like an effort and content aspect. Yeah, sorry to disappoint, but probably not. Alright, let's go a little bit. I feel like I've been stuck in the same area for a while. Someone asked me some advice for what stuff to include in an art portfolio. I'd say that try and include as much variety of stuff as possible, because people at universities like to see that you're very versatile and like experimentation, because that's what basically they're all about, apparently. That's most of the advice that I got when I was working on my portfolio, is just have a lot of different stuff. Show that you like to experiment and show that you can do a lot of different things, because you know, no one likes a one-trick pony, sort of, is what they told me. Although one-trick ponies are very cute and very good, it's always good to, for universities to know that they can, you know, that you're moldable, basically. What do you do when you feel like you aren't progressing with your art at all? I just kind of go back to the place where I know that I draw, like, how to explain this? I go back to the place that art makes me happy. So for me, art isn't always about progressing or feeling like I'm going somewhere. I do a lot of art. For me is just like a therapy, an escape, sort of. So I like to go back to the place where art makes me happy, and that's normally when I'll stop thinking about art in a sense of progressing and always being somewhere and going somewhere with it, and just reminding myself that art for me isn't about that. A lot of these questions are very repeated as well, so don't think that I'm ignoring all the questions. I'm starting to like choose the last couple of questions. How would you describe your art style? That's a cool question. I would describe my art style as being kind of like, in terms of faces, I probably describe it as like doll-ish. I quite like the look of, like, you know, big sparkly eyes and big lips, kind of chubby cheeks. I quite like it, and it kind of reminds me of little dolls that kids play with and stuff. So I'd say that my art kind of resembles that a little bit. Her body is huge, Jesus. Sorry, I'm having a moment. Trying to figure this out. Anyway. Okay, I'm gonna answer the last couple of questions. How old are you? I'm 20. How often do you draw? Pretty much every day, and if not every day, every other day for sure. How long have you been drawing? About 10 years. Is it easy for you to make money out of your art? It's never easy to make money out of something that you're really passionate about. It takes quite a lot of perseverance and a lot of work, but I really I've been really lucky with it, and I also obviously work really hard for it, but I'm very thankful that now I get to make money off of doing the thing that I love the most. But it obviously takes a lot of work, and I don't really know what I'm drawing at the moment, but I'm just drawing like this little princess, and she looks really cute, so I'm just gonna keep going. This is what I love about these like little sketch with me videos. It's I just have the freedom to do whatever the hell I want, and I don't get a lot of moments like this. So, and I'm gonna give her this dress that Penny from Hairspray uses that I love, and I hope that when I can find a dress that kind of looks like this. It's like a really beautiful checkered dress with a really nice color. Anyway, last question. Who's your favorite Avenger, and did you watch new Endgame? My favorite Avenger has always been Captain America, but ever since Spider-Man has joined the Avengers, Spider-Man has always been my favorite superhero of all time, so obviously now it's Spider-Man. And yes, I did watch Endgame, and I am still too fragile to talk about it because I literally just went to see it like 2 days ago. So on that note, yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I know I didn't draw too much. I normally draw a lot more, but been a bit rusty. So thank you guys so much for joining me and for sending in your questions. I can always count on you guys for getting that juicy content in. I hope you enjoyed watching me sketch and talk to you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.